Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto. Hope you're having a good one. So this is where we actually start to dive into everything that I spoke about during the Crypto Minute. And if there's more, then we tackle more. So let's start off with FedNow. That's the United States service that is expected to allow for instant payments across organizations. Now, I'm not going to get into the technicalities of it. It's far too technical for me to get into in a single little thing. But I will say you have companies like BNY Mellon, Wells Fargo, US Bancorp. There are 41 banks currently involved with FedNow, which is expected to launch later this month. And that's going to allow for instant payments. What that does, for Venmo, Cash App, and applications like those, I don't know yet. We're just going to have to wait and see because I don't think it's a person-to-person thing. I think it's an organization-to-organization thing. I need to do a little bit more research. But instant payments for banks, instant settlements, moving of money, that's going to be a very big deal, more than just a little bit. On top of that, you have BRICS nations coming together, and you have just countries lining up to join BRICS. And I don't think we should sleep on it. The US dollar as the global reserve, I believe, will come to an end or can come to an end in our lifetime. That's huge. The question is, what will it actually be replaced with? Now you see where I'm going with it. You have the euro, you have the dollar, you have BRICS nations coming together trying to create their own currency. Is that actually going to replace the Federal Reserve? Replace the dollar? Possible. It's possible. Is it likely? Don't know. Especially in a world that's embracing crypto, right? That's going to be a very big deal as well. Something else that we should point out to, and because I don't want to be all doom and gloom, we should also pay attention to the fact that a lot of the nations involved in BRICS don't necessarily have the strongest economies. See what I'm saying? They're coming together because they don't like the United States. Our politics have put us in a very bad position that we might not be able to get out of. We will see. I hope we can, truthfully, because it's a problem. Now, interestingly enough, DBS Bank, that's that huge bank in Singapore, they've got a new system called e-CNY that will enable automated settlements for their customers, for their business customers, for China's CBDC, or what we call the digital yuan. I always pronounce that improperly. Ask my friend how it's actually pronounced, so I apologize. But think about this. DBS is saying, yep, you can settle with, if you're doing business in China, you can settle. Money will go into your account in an automated fashion, make it a lot easier, a lot faster, boom. They've also got Project Guardian. I'm not pointing this out as like a DBS thing. I'm pointing it out to say there are things afoot that point to a digital world. Okay? In a digital world, I don't think it's going to be ruled by CBDCs. I think it's going to be ruled by crypto. Crypto's already here, and there's no real big brother. Right? There are ways for CBDCs, the way those contracts are written, that they can actually cancel your wallet. Yeah. Meaning the governments can just tell you you're broke, control you. Different than with crypto. Because not your keys, not your wallet, but if you do have your keys, it is your wallet, and nobody can change that. These are things that people are thinking about when they hear about these countries saying, oh, we're going to have a CBDC. We're going to have, a digital dollar, a digital euro, a digital this, digital that. And the first thing in people's minds is, what does that really mean? How much of my money are you going to control? I mean, think about the control that they have, not just to render the fact that you have no money, but to take it at will. The technology is there. Whether they do it or not is something else, but the technology is there. It exists. So I pay attention to that. Something with regard to, you remember that whole fiasco around marketing crypto? Well, the UK's Financial Conduct Authority has said basically, listen, we're not playing this game anymore. We told you on June 8th that we're going to have a new set of rules, a new regime, and it's going to kick in October 23rd, I believe, of this year. There are going to be specific paths that you can take to market, cryptos and other, Web3 services. Whether you are a foreign entity or a domestic entity within the United Kingdom. And that's because they don't want that fiasco again. It hit the United States, but it hit a whole bunch of other countries where people were saying, oh, well, you advertised it, we're going to sue you, blah, 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 frickin' blah. And then all the misleading and advertising and all that other good stuff. So they stepped up their game. The UK is doing something that other countries should be following. Let's start taking a pragmatic approach to setting some rules. Are they going to be perfect? Not at all. Not at all. They will not be perfect. But what they are doing is they're saying, we're going to establish these rules, and then we can hone these rules over time as we see how people interact with them. Smart. Hopefully other countries will do the same. What was it? A week ago, 2 weeks ago, I started talking about how China, Hong Kong wanted to become a crypto hub. Yeah, that all went away. Over the past few days, China's made moves to reassert themselves as, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So I'm sitting back and I'm saying, again, China's kind of misleading, right? I mean, look at all the business that happens in China. You go to China, you want them to build you something. A little while later, some Chinese company is offering the same thing. When I look at, business, China is cracking down on foreign businesses within their country. Why go? Why go? There are other countries like India where companies are starting to say, India, Philippines, there are a lot of countries where people are starting to say, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be reliant on China so much. Some companies are saying, you know what, maybe we should rebuild where we're domiciled, meaning where our headquarters are. So you have companies even in the United States saying, yeah, maybe we shouldn't outsource so much. Are really starting to rethink what they do and how they do it. I would suggest they do the same. Anyway, we should get to numbers. So let's see here. Let me just refresh this for you. It's been like, I want to say 15, 20 minutes since I refreshed these numbers. But I don't see anybody on either one of these boards that's, that I'm actually following. But let's take a look. So on the downside, we go all the way down to, this whole list is down. So Optimism is down about 6%. Dash is down 6%. I only know that name because I saw it in the news. I don't know exactly what happened, but I saw it in the news, so the name stuck in my head. Who else is here that I'm paying attention to? Aptos is down 7%. Stacks is down 6%. So okay, you have some down players right there. In terms of who's on the upside, I believe there's nobody I'm interested in. That's up right now. Helium is up 6%, but I kind of gave up on Helium a long time ago. Let's see, is there anybody else? No, not really. There's nobody else on this list that is actually making a difference to me. Now, what I will say is good news. Ethereum is back to being deflationary. Look at that drop. This is what we mean. Burn is at 18,447 with 14,080 being created. That's pretty good. Always looking for that. Really interesting this week, the fact that we're going to get, the FOMC meeting minutes today. Tomorrow we'll have employment ADP. We'll note the trade deficit, job openings. Friday is when we get the official U.S. unemployment numbers. That's what everybody's going to be paying attention to. This week is kind of a weird week because of the holiday that was yesterday in the United States. So, it does make for a weird week for us. The fear and greed index at 61. It was at 63. It's still at 61, but we're still deeply in greed territory, which is a good thing because that means that there's still a whole bunch of positive energy and it just hasn't hit yet. I think July is still going to be a big month. DeFi, we're still hovering about $57 billion, kind of approaching 58, but we'll see. On this chart, we're looking at where we were. So I told you before that my next level, the ceiling right now for me is 31,580, right between my green bands, right? We haven't been able to break it. We have not been able to break through. I think once we break through that number, that's it. It's a wrap. I think once we break through that number, the next number I have in sight is probably $35,000 for Bitcoin. I think deal. More than kind of probably a very big deal. Let me refresh this. Yeah, it pops up. When I click it, it pops up and then goes away. So it's not always the best. It takes a long time for the screen to open up. It's annoying. I might stop using it and find someplace else. It's just that I like the visual. But you can see how everything's kind of a little bit today. Polygon's down. Even down is 69.5 cents. Ethereum is down, still above 1900, but we're hoping to get back to 1950, which is where I really want to be. I want to be within striking distance for Ethereum. I want to be within striking distance of 2000. If Bitcoin goes up, I think that's where we're actually going to see it. But Bitcoin's hovering at 30,529. We had dipped all the way down to far less than that. But we're maintaining above 30,000 pretty steadily. So I'm wondering if we actually can, within the next week or so, go above that 31,580 that I mentioned. Looking at the board, you can see it's mostly red all over the place. But again, to me, some of these numbers are higher than they had been for a little while. They still represent an opportunity for people to get in, straight up. If you're using dollar cost averaging, you're just buying on a regular basis and not really worried about it, same way you would do with mutual funds. You just drop your money in, on a regular basis, and everything, seems over time, everything either evens out or, hopefully goes up. That's what we're really looking for. I think definitely with this space, we'll be going up. Anyway, if you have any questions, please drop me a note. I hope you have a great day. Have a healthy one. Bye-bye.